come to the bold analysis, I want to speak to the political leadership in this country. However much you can spin and redefine the youth problem and make circles around it, if the political leadership will not address the youth question in this country, I am telling you, we will be changing the leadership after every 5 years. That must be understood, and that someone should understand that, because the youths of this country feel cheated, used and dumped. And one of the most critical questions, one of the most areas that is really underrated, and I think those who got more votes there, like the UDA administration, might be having a very false hope that we will tell them about Raila is bad. We'll use the Raila script all along to form, to galvanize the votes and get our way. But they are forgetting that the country is paying attention to what was promised vis-a-vis what is being delivered. Just tonight, one of our good subscribers have sent me a video I want us to watch, and I will do some small recap about that video, and it's going to depict or show us what exactly I am talking about here. Now, when you watch that clip, it is in some sort of where there are guys I think are playing pool, and if you look at that video keenly, there is some guy who was also hawking boiled eggs there. So if you want to analyze, if I analyze that place, that is a place where and of course some fellas look like drunk maybe. So that place is a place where the person who is selling eggs is a hustler who was spoken to, was told about what was to be promised. Someone who was to benefit in some sort of a hustler fund. The person operating that pool is also someone who is expecting a lot of incentives from government in terms of tax incentive and an income. And then the other person who looks drunk, I think is drunk, is one of the person that is the group that is being targeted by the fight against illicit bro. Now, they plucked, you realize that one thing, that poster was there, and it's a presidential portrait by the it's a portrait of the president, because for now, what can be there cannot be a poster for UDA campaigns. That is for William Ruto as a president. And it seems it is something that was already there. That poster, that banner, it was already in the wall. But just in the midst of that conversation, they found out that, okay, we need to remove it. And you realize that immediately it was removed, the guy removed it, and they were all in concurrence that inatolewa, and it's going to be, they're going to broken into tatters. They were all in agreement. You will not see someone resisting that, oh no. So even with that scene, you could still analyze and find out how many did the business guy, the guy running the business, why did he remove it there? When did he object? You would expect in normal circumstance that maybe the person who is running the business there would object that don't remove it because maybe people who are my clients are the ones who brought it and they will feel bad. But just from that simple video, that 1 minute video, you can make a very clear observation there that the young people are a bit tired. And it's showing you some of the few things we've been talking about. You know, I do believe that William Ruto got votes in Mount Kenya, not necessarily through these young politicians. These young politicians, the juvenile politicians, were used as catalysts. But William Ruto engineered a very, a very smear campaign against Uhuru Kenyatta. And that smear campaign, of course, it is all over in public when the Naivasha MP Jen Kihara was on record saying that they held a meeting in her residence with a host of Mount Kenya MPs and they crafted how they were going to run smear campaign against Uhuru Kenyatta. And they successfully managed to tell the young people in the mountain that everything that Uhuru did was wrong. So, and I agree that with one of my good subscriber here who once told me that if William Ruto did not become president, we would have spent the rest of our lives believing that it was the magic behind Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, after running that smear campaign of Uhuru as a failed president, as a man who did not deliver, as a man who was clueless, now within the next 4 years, his responsibility is to make all Uhuru's wrongs be right. And that is why when you listen to the sound bites of people who are interviewing some few people in the mountain, you will see, you will always find the residents trying to compare alituambia Uhuru hii na yeye anafanya hii. It's because they were told that everything that Uhuru did was wrong. I was looking at today Kerugoya Hospital was launched. There's a lot of accolades going to Anway Guru. The project started in 2017, and by that time Mutahi Kagwe was the cabinet secretary in charge of health, and there was allocation, a commitment from the national government and a commitment from the county government. It is not so that hospital was built by exclusively from county government, but those credits cannot be given to Uhuru Kenyatta because because of politics. But I've gone to some few counties. I've gone to Muran'ga, I've gone to Embu, I've gone to, the other one I went was Nyeri. Yes, I've always gone to Nyeri. Those 3 counties I've always said that if you compare that with my county, there is a difference. By the fact that they had president for 10 years. That is a big difference, truth be told. The tarmac in Mount Kenya, I don't know why they even still, I don't still understand why they're still asking for more. I've always believed that maybe they should ask for something else. Not even now the tarmac, but again, because I've not gone to interior. So, I want to tell you what that incident going there means politically. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. Thank you very much for your support. Clearly, people are not feeling Ruto's government. And not feeling Ruto's government is something very clear. I can even give you a challenge. Those who are in the country and those who are in rural areas, can you walk to your nearest hospital facility? It's very easy to see visibility of government. Walk to the nearest facility like hospital or primary school or the water point if there is a borehole or the nearest market. And can you try to locate any banner, any poster or any banner of This facility was launched by President William Ruto. Try to locate in your nearest. I made that. When I went home, I was home just last month. Just I think earlier this month. Not earlier this month. In the month of June. That is in May. I was home in May, and of course I'll be home this weekend. I'll tell you maybe when that happens. I went to my primary school. The school, there was a class 5 and class 6 construction done by CDF, and that is by during the previous administration, not this one, the previous one. I went to the hospital and I saw one, I think there was a project by World Bank. In my village, there is also another project of electricity. It is by World Bank. Now, if I go to Siaya, the whole of Siaya county, I may be wrong on this, but someone can challenge me. If there is any banner, any poster, this project has been launched by William Ruto on date, blah, 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 and even if it is a partnership with Kenyan government and other development partners, if they're in Siaya, there can be less than 5 or less than 3 or less than 2. Now, that's what I'm talking about here. People are not feeling the government. There is a lot of, if someone from intelligence is to use that video to see what is going on, it tells you that the person selling the eggs is not even enrolled in this Hustler Fund, or is not benefiting from Hustler Fund. He's not seeing anything. In that room, they have not seen anything to credit William Ruto for. And that is why I'm saying they're not feeling William Ruto's government. And because of that, the Ruto hustler euphoria is shedding off. It's shedding off. And it is upon the people to maybe get that understanding that, and they try to ask themselves a simple question. Am I really a hustler as I want to project myself, or I want to be made to believe that I'm a hustler? Yes, I'm a hustler, but is William Ruto a hustler? You know, the hustler posturing thrived in the way it was packaged, like I'm one of you. But even looking at the budget, his maiden budget, looking at the kind of machines and the power, the opulence in power, it is now time for, it has knocked the real hustler realize, okay, I'm alone in this. I am actually alone in this. I am not hustler. When people are told that we are going to form this government with you, they're clueless, and I'm sorry for using the word clueless. Allow me to use that one for now, because I get the point home. Some very clueless hustler somewhere always thought that, okay, when Ruto is announced as the president, in one of the ministers, we might get a boda person. There was that thought that Mama Mboga, this Mama Mboga from Kiambu will get some position somewhere, will be seen in the TV every day as someone who is in government. So they have felt detached. And clearly, someone should also tell the president and get that the profiling, the way they're profiling the youth problem is actually widening the gap. There is some guy who is drunk at there, and the youth problem in this country, and I don't know why, if it is the issue of alcoholism, then the truth here is alcoholism may be rampant in Mount Kenya, but it is a problem across this country. In Western Kenya, for people who come from Western Kenya, can you just take, there is a very small route between Maseno to Luanda. No, if you travel there during the day, you will not miss seeing some young men, some mad men around that place. And we're told those guys are normally high on bangi, on marijuana. So the alcohol and drug abuse is not a Mount Kenya problem. We are just lying to the country that it's a Mount Kenya problem. We're just trying to consolidate emotions, people around that as a motive issue. But it is a problem in the coast. let's be honest. Between Nyeri and Coast, where do you think drug abuse is rampant? Where do you think it's very devastating? In Coast, it's been known, and of course, most of those stories of drug peddlers, most of those stories come from the Coast. Look at Nairobi here. Don't even go far. Nairobi here. A lot of problems in the slums. You'll find that in the slums, it is women that are feeding their families. The men are all in the areas of Katuekera. I was in Kibera, there is a place called Katakera. When you go there is a lot of pombe there. The men are drinking in town centers. But we've tried to look at it as if it's a Mount Kenya problem. Now, it is because of something I said in my previous podcast, that we want to redefine that problem so that we give it a simplistic solution. I need to explain this. You know why we have defined our problem as not about an income problem? We are defining it as an alcohol abuse problem, because to curb that, we simply start ordering chiefs and policemen here and there. We are not going to spend anything. But when it comes to giving people jobs, we need to spend. And what is really happening here is we are profiling the youth, or they're drunkards, or they're mungiki. We've said all sort of things to try to win the hearts of their parents, when in essence, we are profiling them. Lastly, that video is showing low patriotism, that people are not patriotic. That poster there is of President William Ruto, not William Ruto as the presidential candidate. So someone will start arguing that is Azimio. He's a president. They're speaking Kikuyu. I honestly believe these are people that might have voted for him. It's a clear message that the youths are disgruntled, and it's a matter of when, not if, they will be able to divorce the leadership. And I'm telling you, that will be a biggest fallout than that fallout between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. The longest task, the most difficult task, is for William Ruto to prove that Uhuru was always wrong. If you can prove that, maybe a second term is guaranteed. But for now, it's going to be a lot of hard work put together. The UDA must put their acts together.